Hello and welcome to another edition of Shadow of Love. I'm Holly, your co host, writer, intimacy coach, lover of all things spooky and great white sharks, and co founder of the Professional Heathen Society with my other co founder, Ernest. Hey, Ernest.
Hey, what's up? I am Ernest. I am the proud co-host of the Shadow of Love podcast with my good friend and hetero life mate, Holly. I'm a Southern cuisine chef, a restaurant manager, a bar manager, a hotel manager, a lover of thick thighs, and the unofficial president of the Stevie Wonder fan club, and a co-founder of the Professional Heathen Society. And I'm so glad to be here today with our wonderful, wonderful guest. You have no idea.
It is super exciting. And so with us today, we have the amazing Gene Stovall. Gene, I'll pass it to you to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Gene, also known as Gene Stovall, formerly known as Eugene Stovall, still known as Eugene Stovall, also known as Gene Stovall ex Gene Pool, formerly known as Gene Pool, still known as Gino, also known as Gene Yes.
Indeed.
Indeed. And today our topic is love and art, which huge topic, a lot of different interpretations that could be made of that. But just want to kind of kick it off to Gene first and say, because you're a musician and I think you're one of the most creative and talented artists in the music world that I've seen, in the past 2 decades, because I've known Gene quite a while. Just, how do you formulate art with passion and love? And does that always have to exist for you to be a part of what you create?
I'm not sure if this answers any questions, but I just wanted to share with everyone that I will be drinking tea on this podcast. I'll also be drinking this delicious IPA.
Nothing wrong with that.
That should answer the question, like totally. But what was the question? Something about like love and art?
Yeah, like for you, do you feel that love and passion always has to be a part of that creative process? Do you feel sometimes? Okay.
No, it doesn't have to be, but I think it helps if it does, but it all depends on what you're talking about. I'm one of these people that believes is like, okay, you got 7 days in a week and you feel a whole lot of ways within those 7 days of all the hours of the day that you're awake, even whenever you're asleep. So when you make your art, somebody's going to love it, somebody's going to hate it, but you don't have to necessarily love or hate what you made. There's a lot of people who made like the best work that they've ever done, and someone else thought it was just good enough to hang in the lobby of a hotel, So it's all subjective. You never know. Also, sometimes you can create something and you're not thinking about it. And a couple of years later, after you've gone through some loss and, some other situations in your life, maybe you now love that piece. So if you don't love it at first, you will eventually come around to loving it. And if you start off loving something, it may represent something that you hate later, all based on who it's connected to or what time of where you were in your life or any of those sort of situations.
I think that like I've done spoken word before, and I've actually had the opportunity and the privilege to be on stage with Gene. If you've ever been on stage with Gene, and I mean this, I got to give you your flowers, dude.
Appreciate it.
You ever like? No, like I've been on stage with you before a few times, and it's like watching a fucking unicorn. Like you don't see that. You're not going to see that shit again. And like when you see it, you're just like, it's a one-off thing, and it's a great experience. But like when I like write, I do it from a place where I don't think about anybody else but me. I don't hold anyone's. I know like a lot of commercial artists have to write and perform and produce for the masses and ultimately sell themselves out or whatever, whore themselves out. But like as an individual who's doing it for myself and maybe a small intimate group of people, I always do it for me first. Uh, because I think that the creative process is it's a very intimate thing and it's very personal.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't consider anyone's feelings or anyone's opinion when I'm writing. Like I was up to like, I don't know, 3:30 this morning writing this short piece. And I've never once since I've been on like spoken word and messing around on the mic, I've never considered anybody else's feelings because I'm the artist. And if which is as far as creating goes, everyone doesn't have the courage to get up on stage. Everyone doesn't have the courage to bare their soul. So I celebrate anyone who does that and always puts their feelings and opinion first because it's a very, very intimate thing as far as the creative process goes, if you're doing it right, to bare your soul in any manner for the world to see. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Like they say, I think the two biggest fears are like death and public speaking. So if you're an artist, especially a musician, a singer, a poet, it really, really takes a lot to bare yourself to the world. So as far as the people's opinion goes, I could give her when I'm doing my thing, I could give a rat's ass if they like it or not. I'm doing it for me first. So that's
Yeah.
just where I am with it.
Yeah, I care. I care what people think, but I think that when it comes time for the presentation, I mean, I don't know. I'm one of these people that I started off letting people know that when you see me, this is me. This is who I am during that moment. Um, if I get up on stage and I say or do what I do, it's coming from a place where it's like, yeah, I did rehearse. I did want this to go over a certain way, but sometimes you have to read the audience or however you feel that day, and then things happen. But um, I definitely care. I definitely care what people think because I want to move people. So, sometimes want to move in the wrong way. I'll do things like it all depends on who I'm trying to be. Like sometimes I feel like I'm the hero getting up on a stage, but every time I've ever hosted an open mic, I was always the heel. I was the bad guy. Uh, and if I were being the opener on certain events too, I would choose to play the bad guy too. So it's not like I would do anything like super bad, but burping on microphones, holding 4 beers at a time, things like that. Just trying to get the crowd to hate me a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like I just noticed that like it's better to get a reaction than no reaction, and I didn't mind getting a negative reaction from a crowd mixed in with a positive, just as long as I was getting something. I didn't want to perform to no one paying attention. And I think that there was a couple times where I performed and everyone was talking, and I'm just like, what do I need to do in order to get these people's attention? And that's how I would I would get into this like bad guy role a little bit and start kind of yelling at the crowd and just I don't know whatever. But I always, no matter what, I keep the audience in mind. But I think that's more of a live show thing too, because now that I'm recording at home and not doing so much, I'm not doing as much live as I used to. I mean, I did like 20 years of almost daily performing on stage, from open mics to some kind of benefit concert, some opener, just always doing something. And then COVID happened and that slowed everything down. And it just really made me sit down, and I was already kind of, making tracks and producing, and I try to take that a little bit more seriously. And that stuff can make you crazy if you're doing multiple genres of music. If you're doing one genre and you can do kind of a cut and paste situation, which saves you time. Like when you hear people talking about they made a track within an hour or 2 minutes, things of that nature. That's hard. I can't do something like that. I could lie and say that I did, but it takes a lot longer to make a track. And when you're making a track or I'm making a track, I'm keeping people in mind as far as, you know, is my message set up to make people feel something, heal them, hurt them? What kind of response am I trying to get? But if it's just for me, which it is sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to even speak about, because I feel like even though it's always for me, I do have people in mind sometimes, and sometimes I am thinking about myself. Like my next album, the first song on the second part of this album that I'm doing, because I released the first part already in February, but the first song is very personal and it's for me. I just wanted to have something that I could listen to. A lot of the album is songs that I want to listen to for myself, but I want to share with other people too. I mean, I'm keeping people in mind while I'm doing this. I want people to play the music. I want them to add it to a playlist or something, but I'm starting to reach the age where I don't think that this is like a young person's game at all, but I do think that the rhetoric or the topics that I choose to talk about or whatever, I don't really want to. I don't want to do that anymore. I kind of want to just. I don't know. I feel older now, and I want to. I kind of want to go back to just doing gospel music.
Yeah, I'm like that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you feel like you're because we're around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like we're closer to 50 than we are to the club? So do you feel like you're aging out of it? Or
no, I feel like the club changes. The club is different because like you got your singles clubs, and that's the quote unquote club. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But what about the country clubs that there's people in there? We're all in our 40s. There's country clubs, there's book clubs, there's all types of clubs. You know what I'm saying? The Sunday morning club, whether you go to church or not, the Saturday night club, the Saturday morning club, Saturday afternoon club. They go by many names, but that time of day and where they take place is the club. So we're always in the club. You know what I mean? But the thing is like we've been giving power to people who are our age who have been controlling younger minds in order to move things like tobacco and alcohol and fashion and things of that nature, perfumes and colognes and things. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of consumer driven music.
Yeah. Now we're still consumers and we're still doing that thing, but I think that the life that we live needs to be represented a little bit more in the mainstream media instead of just everything being catered towards people between a certain age demographic. Whenever we're all still alive, we're all still enjoying life, and we need to be entertained and sold products too as well, not just us buying them as gifts for other people, you know?
Yeah. I think what I'm asking more is as you get older, do you feel a bit of, when you look back, when you listen to like whatever's playing today, as far as like music is concerned, and you can fit in any, because you're a Swiss Army knife. So do you feel like the music today is something that you want to be a part of? Because like you said, like gospel music, I'm a preacher's kid. I grew up in the church, and there are days when I'd rather listen to, you know, Edwin Hawkins as opposed to like Public Enemy. And I like them both in equal parts. Or, you know, like one of my favorite albums is Aretha Franklin's Amazing Grace album. Like that's just like, I'll play that, I'll bang that like it ain't nothing, as opposed to like hip hop. So like, do you feel like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, where do you feel like yourself going? Because like once you get that spiritual itch, you got to, you know what I mean? If you're a church kid like me, once you get that itch, because like you can leave the church, but the church never leaves you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So do you feel like that's a route that you want to go back to?
I feel like I've always done pop music, and you know the Swiss Army knife thing. I feel like, yeah, I do a lot of genres of music, but I feel like it's just all pop music. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely a pop music artist, but I've never, even during the times where I thought I could go into a studio and record a hit record right now, it would be bananas. I don't think that I was ever making music popular enough, even like it in my soul or in my head, any of that could ever really be a hit record for that time period. I always feel like I'm 10 years behind in music because of the things I choose to listen to. Even right now, I'm listening to more things from 10 years ago than today. And I've never really been in 1993. I was definitely a part of that moment. I remember 93. I was feeling 93, like 1993 hip hop or R&B, whatever, even rock, anything on the Jukebox Network. You know what I mean? I was there. I remember, y'all remember the Jukebox Network, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got a jukebox, you got BET had like 3 video shows. MTV was at the end of their videos, or at the high time of them showing videos.
Their peak, that's their peak, yeah.
VH1 was transforming, but all of those channels, and then your random video shows like the underground hip hop video magazine, on Channel 21, on PCTV Pittsburgh. You had a lot of videos to choose from, and I was definitely alive in that moment and enjoying it. But by the time I got to college, I started going backwards, listening to stuff from the 70s, and then I got into the 80s and jumping back to the 60s. And I think I just stayed there for a while. It was tough. So the music I was writing, I felt like I was writing for that time period, but really I was so inspired by things that were way older that I'm not sure if it was hitting like that. But I know that live it was cool because we were having, it went over live.
Yeah.
The things I was doing to that made me happy. But I'm not sure that if during that time, if I were a signed recording artist, that if I would have drawn any money for anybody or any of that stuff. I'm not sure, but maybe a couple songs. But I don't think that I was ever a writer. Just to answer the question, I don't think I was ever a writer for that time period. I feel like I've been writing one genre of pop this whole time that just really borrowed from a whole lot of other genres of pop. You know what I mean? Or whatever popular genre it was. Because, like, for example, I listened to Mariah Carey's first album and then listened to her second album. No. You know what? No. Just the first Mariah Carey album. Listen to that. She jumps about 8 genres.
Oh, yeah, she's all over the place. Yeah, she's all over the place on that. It was like an experiment.
Yeah. So when you listen to a lot of artists' first albums, listen all the way through. They're all doing it. It's almost like the label's telling them, you got to have a hip hop track. You got to have a rock and roll track. You got to have a gospel track, unless you don't believe in God. Then you got to have some kind of spiritual, whatever. Then you got to have 2 sad songs, like things of that nature. And it's like, because I've been listening to pop this whole time, I've been writing like that. You know what I mean? So if I write a sad song, if I follow it up with another sad song, it's got to be stylistically different than the other one. So if one was jazzy, one got to be a little bit more rocky or whatever, But, I was doing that stuff live, and it's just a whole new world. The way that people look at that whole thing is different because how you said you're a child of the church almost. I'm a child of the theater. Both of my parents were theater people, or my mom, she passed, so she was, but my father's still alive. He's still doing theater. And my first time really being on stage, I was professional, was doing theater, doing an August Wilson play. And so I took that ever since then. Like that happened in 7th grade. I'm proud of it. Pittsburgh Public Theater. My mom did the costumes. It was we did Joe Turner's Come and Gone.
Wow.
This is right. This is in 1989. And so I'm over there, Allegheny Center Mall, every day. You know what I mean? Because that's where the theater is. I'm at the mall every day. I remember buying that MC Hammer tape You know what I mean? Like
Yo.
off my first paycheck, I bought a Batman t-shirt, a faded blue jean jacket, and that MC Hammer tape. That was the first three. That all happened on the same shop, like the same shopping trip, whatever. But being on stage for that, and I was always a singer, but I was kind of like a joke singer. You know what I mean? I was the type of dude that I was in a Weird Al Yankovic. That's how me and Justin got cool, because he was just like, dude, you seem like a Weird Al guy. I was like, I am a Weird Al guy. He's like, I'm a Weird Al guy. And I was like, damn, are we the only two? You know? Because I never heard anyone say that they was.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of, you never hear a lot of bros be like, yo, I fucked with that Weird Al shit.
Yeah, you know, it's something where it's just like, yo, what else you be listening to? It's just, we've got weird, just very weird, obscure choices and stuff. He's like, well, you can do that stuff here on this stage. I'm like, all right. So I was kind of like, I'm not like I consider myself a mashup artist, but the more I use it, the more I realize that maybe I'm not. But like, I know that I'm definitely the type of person that will, while performing, feel bored with the song that I'm performing and want to go into another song. So I like to do it like turntable style. You know what I mean? As if I'm like going from turntable to turntable, trying to do it. But that also covers up this stutter that I have too. And when the stutter starts coming out, I just go into the turntable shit anyway. So it's like, you know.
Yeah.
But because of that, it becomes a pop hybrid, what I was doing live on stage, just to cover up my imperfections. You know what I mean? And still try to seem cool to all these cool people. I ain't never been cool. I'm never going to be cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to be like this dude that's like just existing. I've always been like the dude that hang out in the back of the class or whatever, back of the club, back of the whatever, corner of the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like having a separate conversation about like, I'd be like, yo, did anybody ever watch that show Benson? You know, like things like that. We came from Soap.
Benson.
Yeah. Dude, I can tell you the whole background of Benson and
I'll tell you about Benson. I know about Soap. I remember when that. Do you remember that when that was on 7:30? It came on 7:30 on
ABC?
WPTT. Yeah, back in the day, you know that old Pittsburgh.
Paul Junger Witt, Billy Crystal played the first openly gay character on television.
Yep. Such a great show.
Won Emmys.
It's the Tates and the Campbells. I was watching that on everything. I was watching that shit on Saturday. I think Holly and I were talking about that before. Like I rocks with old TV.
Well, look, if you know about that show, then I'm going to ask you both a question. And I don't mean that I know this is my interview or whatever, but I do this on every podcast. Y'all got to give me your top 5 TV shows of all time, quick.
Oh, my top 5.
Yep. I'll start. 5. I'll give mine real quick because we're talking about Soap. I'm gonna go Soap. I'm gonna go The Office. The Office is my number 1. Then it's Soap, I think. What a tough question. The Cosby Show or A Different World. That's kind of you know what? I'm gonna roll with The Cosby Show over A Different World, even though they both start fading out on me. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna go Cosby Show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and man. This is situation comedies too. Man, that fifth one. Three's Company is my number 3. That's my number 3, actually. All right, yeah, I like that. Fresh Prince, Cosby Show, Three's Company. Soap, The Office. The Office is the best sitcom of all
time. Kojak. In no particular order.
Kojak. Wait, is that situation comedy? Half hour.
No, like my favorite shows, like my favorite TV shows of all time. Like my favorite sitcoms. Yeah. Shit, that's tough because I think like my top 3 might be like in no particular order: Cheers, Cosby Show.
Both Thursday nights.
I don't really fuck with Good Times. The Odd Couple. I think I only have like 3 because I watch so much TV.
And you gotta have 5. You gotta have 5.
It's hard to put them like to say like here's my top 5.
That's why it's a great. That's why it's a great question.
It's a tough question. It's a real tough question. Like Odd Couple, Cheers, Cosby Show.
You gotta think about the networks too.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the networks. Weirdly, I like Blackish for what it is
Yeah.
as a newer show.
Yeah, you can put new shows.
Yeah, I like Blackish, and it's really hard to round them out because dude, I was a TV baby, right?
Me too.
I spent a lot of time. Like if I wasn't in church, I was watching TV.
I got to be real with y'all too. I don't mean to even cut off your list, but I have an honorable mention that I have to say, and it's Mama's Family. But
Oh, I would love that show.
Yeah. Oh, people sleep Mama's Family.
They sleep it, but it's a good one.
I have a weird crush on Vicki Lawrence. Made me have a lifelong crush on redheads.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Carol Burnett show.
Yeah, because she hired her as a lookalike for the show. That's how she got on the show.
Is that the story?
Yeah, she hired her to get on the show, and it was weird because we're totally going off random. Carol Burnett got the show because she had one of these weird ass contracts. She had one of these weird deals with CBS where she could be a writer, she could have content, she could be on different shows, she was an under contract actress for CBS. And somewhere in her contract, her agent finagled one of these things it was like a 10-year deal, and they gave her an option of creating her own television show on some kind of wink, wink, yeah, right type shit. And she fucked around and made her own show, right? And basically saved the network.
Yo, you know that snowballed. That's how we got to Mama's Family, because that show never stopped rolling. It just, the Carol Burnett show rolled through two other shows that I didn't watch, and that I know it ended up Mama's Family.
It was like the Harpers.
Because it's the same cast over and over, same players. It's like Saturday Night Live.
And the show started as a sketch on the Carol Burnett show,
right?
And she spun it off into her own show.
So I didn't know this. I didn't know that she got Vicki Lawrence as a lookalike. I didn't know.
Yeah. She was Vicki Lawrence was from.
She had a hit record. She was a singer.
She was a singer, and she was a model. She was a bikini model, right? Yeah, I think she's from Sherman Oaks, California. Wow. Don't that dude? I'm full of facts before Google.
I'll tell you something, man. Art and love. That's why all this is art. And what we're talking about is the love of that art. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. We are affected by this, and we need to talk about it, because that's our era. You know, they don't do it like people who are in their 20s now, 20 years from now, may not be having a conversation like this. I hope that they will, but they may not, because they might be talking about something that's more prevalent with what's going on with cell phone culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's where we had what, 7 channels before cable.
Yeah, I remember when TV went off. Mm-hmm. TV just went the fuck off at night. 3 a.m, you're just looking at static.
That's how you know it was time to go to bed.
It's time to go to fucking bed.
Right.
That's back when TV had shame.
Yeah, it's yo, if you need to be waking up going to work in the morning. That's what it is.
If you're up at 3 a.m, you are doing cocaine or something else terrible. I think that
I've known you for some time, and I've had to
wait. We still need a 5 from Holly.
Yeah, Holly, where's your 5?
I'm gonna agree with Gene. I think The Office is the best comedy. I've watched it 5 times at least, the whole way through, over and over. My number 2 would be The Goldbergs, because it completely captures everything I feel from that era of growing up. I don't know if you've seen it, but it really,
I know about it, but I don't think I ever watched it once.
Dude, I think you would love it. Love it. It's just, it's everything that you love and more. And just captures that whole era of my childhood. I'm a big fan of Alf, which I think was just
I end up talking about Alf with a lot of people. That's another show I didn't really watch, but I did a little bit, but I wasn't diehard. Oh my God, I have to watch Alf. But Alf was it was
a game changer.
It was funny, man. It was. I don't know it. I just remember it being on Wednesday nights, and there was other shows I was watching at that same time.
That was the hard thing. You had to pick, right? My number 4 would be Fresh Off the Boat. I love that show.
Fresh Off the Boat.
I love Fresh Off
What
the
is
Boat.
that?
It's about Eddie Wong, the chef Eddie Wong and his family. Like it's a
What channel?
biography. I want to say it's ABC. Yeah.
Wow. So I didn't watch a lot of ABC shows. I watched like that Thank God It's Friday, TGI Fridays.
Well, that's a newer one, but it's really good. It's really funny. And then there's a show on Netflix that I'm really obsessed with that's really new and still has another season coming called Never Have I Ever.
Is this situation comedy?
It is. And it's about a young Indian girl growing up, and just, it's hilarious. It's so funny and it's really well done. So that's a
couple I gotta check out.
My honorable mention would be Webster. I loved Webster when I was growing up.
I watched Webster a couple times until I got the nickname Webster. And then I was like, never watched, so I ain't watching it.
Dude, you'll love anything. I can't imagine you ever like. When I was a kid, I got different strokes all the time. I got called Arnold.
There was a kid. I used to play Little League, and I had people had so many nicknames for me. I started just nicknaming myself after that. I feel like everybody had their own special nickname, but this one kid, he was just like, you look like Webster, and he said it around all these people. And then for years, I was Webb. Webb, yo, Webb, oh my God, Webb. Oh, I hated it. And I don't know if I ever accepted it for real because but I don't know. You get these names. What are you gonna do?
He's like a gangster. Like, don't roll up on Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah,
he's a real G. Don't roll up on him. He's having none of that.
Yeah, no, he's a cool dude, man. I just didn't want to be compared to him. Like I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to be.
I was out with a friend of mine. One of my good friends, the older white dude. He's 67 years old. Big up to Mike. We were out a few weeks ago. Oh, it was January. We were out watching the game. We're at a little bar somewhere, and this lady asked me. She was like, "Well, how do you guys know each other? You got to play the sitcom lie game, right?" So she asked me. She was like, "So how do you two know each other?" And I said, "Well, it's funny that you asked that. Like, he's actually my father. My mother worked for him years ago."
Oh wow!
And I said my mother worked for him years ago, and things happened, and they had a brief but passionate affair, and I'm the byproduct of that. And for years we didn't know of each other, and then a few years ago after my mom passed, we reunited and reconnected, and now he's my dad, and so we're just trying to build our relationship day by day. And she was like, and the lady was like, "Oh my God, that's beautiful." And I was like, "Yeah, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum." She ate that shit up.
That's amazing.
Because a middle-aged black guy and an old white guy can't just be friends. There has to be a reason why we're together. So, just tell them the different stroke story and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a story. I mean, I figured she was gonna buy you some drinks. But...
Well, she was trying to give me some ass, but.
Gene, do you think, Gene, you said that you felt like you're like a decade behind, and see, I've always seen you as being more like 10 years ahead, because if you look at some of the things that you were doing 10, 20 years ago, it seems like that stuff is now cycling around to be more like all of these things that I've thought I was never going to see again from my childhood are suddenly like really back in style. And that kind of music is even seeming to make a comeback, and the boy bands seem to be coming back. It's all getting really weird and really kind of trippy.
It's not even weird. I'll tell you what, here's the thing. The world is always going to turn, but some of us can stay in the same place by just turning the other direction. That's all I'm doing. I'm just spinning the other way while the world's turning the other way. So half the time I'm cool, the other half I look clueless, lost, whatever. But it's all good because it's like I never really stopped. Like the way I dressed in like the mid 90s is the same way I dress now. With the exception of like that, the hat game will change. Like these are like newer hats, but I remember I was rocking a hat like this in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like Old Navy downtown Pittsburgh. used to have like them little beige hats and the green hats for like $5.
I
And it
still
was
rock
just
those.
like this. Yeah, when we was rocking low hats or whatever. So, it's nice that it's nice to have these, but I'm still like fitted caps and scullies, and I still wear army fatigues, hoodies. I don't know. I like sweaters like this. I've been wearing sweaters like this my entire life because my mom used to buy these for me like anywhere, Ames, Kaufman's. You know what I mean? She kept me in a sweater like this, and now I just need to have a sweater on like this, at least as much as I can, just to represent for her. And then the army fatigues thing, that's really just my adult way of saying I used to wear Bugle Boy pants when I was growing up because of Coffin's Basement always had them on sale for kids.
Yeah.
And my mom, she shopped at Coffin's Basement like religiously. Like we weren't. I don't think I ever really had cool like the cool outfit. Like I never had cross colors when I was growing up or like Major Damage. I always wanted it, didn't have. It was always just like Bugle Boys. You know what I mean? I had Levi's like once, maybe
that's
twice.
like my dad. I think in retrospect, I think he was just a cheap bastard because like, back in my day was like the Calvin Klein's jeans were the shit, and like my dad was like, you want to walk around with some man's name across your ass to be popular,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
same type of stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, you a cheap motherfucker. That's all you are.
Yeah, no, my mom, she didn't want to spend no money either. She had like a rule that I started living by with that whole like don't spend over 15. So when you find stuff and that people will look at it and think, oh, we spent 200, but you spent 15. You know what I mean? It's like
you like Indiana Jones at Gabe's.
Yeah, but I don't even like Gabe's. Gabe's got everything is like imperfect. I still bought a hoodie from there that I rock to this day, this white champion hoodie. But like, nah, man, I'm Marshalls, I'm Burlington Coat Factory, sometimes TJ Maxx a little bit, but not really that much. But I was more Burlington than anything. Coffin's downtown until I left, and then Marshalls after that, and then I was just Marshalls for life. But when I was a kid, my mom, I mean, but you know what though? There was a couple places downtown, like Fifth and Wood. We was at Fifth and Wood.
Oh, I stayed at Fifth and Wood.
Ooh, I loved it.
I stayed at Fifth and Wood. Big up to Tony at the Gold and Diamond Exchange.
Oh, wow.
I had a couple Jesus pieces that were a little bit ridiculous, like around like the mid 90s.
I only had one gold chain, and I gave it to my grandma. It was a cross. It was a gold cross that I had.
I was dumb with it.
Yeah,
a little bit. Like I wasn't like with the big joints or whatever, but like really nice pieces. And
I didn't have that kind of money. Like if I had money, I would. I don't know, man. I would try to like round if I ever got money, I always roll with a big crew. So I would just like, and it was always like my little cousins and like all of our friends. So I would just throw in on our Eaton Park tab for that weekend. You know what I mean? Like
I rolled with a bunch of drug dealers, but I wasn't a dealer. I ran a bar, but like I was like drug dealer adjacent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I felt like everybody knew kind of every type of person. I mean, there's always that person, but like I'm talking about when you're young, though. You know what I mean? Like when you become an adult, it's different. You may accidentally roll with a drug dealer for like 4 years. You don't even realize. You know what I mean? Or you realize it, but you ain't making a big deal. But when you're young, though, you get a little bit of money. Every time I got money young, it was like, let's go eat at a nice restaurant, or Eaton Park is the nice restaurant. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're going 10 deep. You know what I mean? And then we go, and then we party in the woods.
That's where my mom would like to go. My mom would rock Eaton Park. And it was funny as hell because like, Eaton Park's not expensive, whatever. And like we'd go to Eaton Park.
It can be if you're young.
Yeah.
She'd get like the same. She would get like the same thing. She'd get like a cheeseburger, fries, and a shake. Right.
Super burger though, or like just a.
That's an important distinction.
She would get just a regular cheeseburger.
Oh, okay.
My mom was a colored lady, so she would roll like that, and it'd be funny as hell because it was like might be like 5 or 6 of us at the table, and she'd always want to look at the check. I'm like, you're not paying for this shit or whatever. And like whatever the check was, it was always like too much. And like I'm a I'm a dumb tipper. Like I over tip. And she's like, she would always be like, you leaving that much money? I'm like, yeah. It was always like too much. Whatever it was just too much. Cause like I'm a 40% tipper.
When did you get into the into serving? Like when were you like a bartender? Like, you know, like when did that start? Because like when I met you, you was like the most professional bartender / lounge manager, like not shadow lounge manager, but just a lounge. Because before you was at the shadow lounge, you was working down Station Square.
Yeah, I was I was like it's like me and Asante are like we're like Jackie Robinson of like the
Yo, y'all looked out for me. Y'all looked out for me. And I'll never forget it because you was down Station Square at that one spot. It was a jazz spot.
I was at the Crawford. I was at the Crawford.
Crawford, that was down there. And then Asante was at the Firehouse.
Yeah.
And this is back when I was like, I had like my chosen bars that I would go to. And those were two of my bars because like y'all made me feel like I just felt like I was at home around y'all. I'd sit at the bar. I didn't know nobody. I felt mad uncomfortable. Y'all made me feel comfortable.
Shout out to Asante too.
Definitely. I haven't seen that cat yet. You know what? I got into it on a humble. This is a true story. I was my mom got me a job at a deli in Clairton years ago to keep me out of trouble, right? And I think I was like 18. 18. I started bartending when I was 18. A buddy of mine, because all my friends are like 10 years old. A lot of my old homies are like 10 years older than me. So I was sneaking to this bar called Donnie's when I was like 18. Actually, I got caught there underage drinking once, right? And I always wanted to be a bartender because like Cheers, I told my dad this is a true story. My dad asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up. And I was like, I either want to be Sam Malone or Martin Luther King, right? True story. So a fight broke out at this bar and there were female bartenders and they hid themselves in the freezer downstairs and got locked in the freezer. And like the bar got trashed or whatever. And so like my buddy who ran the bar asked me that I want to bartend. This is like 1992, 93, 92. And I was like, hell yeah. And I think like the first night I tended bar, I made like $400 in tips.
Wow.
So I was hooked on it ever since. And then I just kind of like grew into it because like I love the nightlife and I like the boogie.
I like the boogie, yeah.
Like I love the nightlife and because it always changes. Like you may see some of the same people, but like every night is different. And I'm very shy as on a personal note, I'm very shy. So working like being in the nightlife got me out of my shell as a person. You know what I mean? It's got me in some trouble. It's gotten, but a lot of it came from like I wanted to learn the business. You know what I mean? And like anytime I do something, I try to be the best at it that I possibly can be. And I really enjoy it because like it's you get to meet all kinds of different people. Whatever, I'll put it to you this way, at this point in my life, like from working in the industry as long as I have, if I haven't done it, then it's not to be done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've had some joys from it. I've had some failures and I've had some like great successes, and I think in equal parts. So would I do it again? Most likely I probably will because I really love it. And plus it's a lot of tax-free income.
It's a combination job too, because not only are you someone's spiritual advisor, you're a healer, you're a therapist, a listener.
Oh yeah. I've heard
you're a lifesaver in so many ways as a bartender. Like, and it's like I've always, as a performer who wasn't ever a bartender, I performed for the bartenders my whole career. You know what I mean? Like, especially if I showed up with an acoustic guitar and it's just me and the acoustic. It was for the bartenders always. You know what I mean? Because everyone else is coming and go. They come and go. I'm starting the night. I end the night. and then finally it's over and I'm not performing anymore. I could finally just be at the bar and kick it with the bartenders. And those are I lived for it. I loved it. And
I'll tell you
still
the
to
truth.
this day, it's like I think it's a good life to have drinks with the people who is like working the drinks. I don't know. Like if you work a stage, I just feel like there's this circular camaraderie, this family vibe that comes from that.
Yeah. I mean, being a bartender it really is that, because like you hear a lot of shit that you would, because what you're doing also is you're giving people truth serum. Because like a friend of mine told me years ago, if you want to find out if you want to find out what a person really is, give them two things: liquor and money, right? And the real person will come out eventually out of those two things. They'll reveal themselves. So like I've heard some crazy stories.
It's really like kind
I've
of a shadow self situation though, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know why? Because you're there, but you're present, but you're also background at the same time,
Yeah,
right?
you're
So
like, I don't want wait. You're always like, wait, and your other side is just like, no. You know?
you hear shit that people say that like they forget that you're there, but like, yo, I heard that shit. Like I heard that, I remember that shit. Like I'm like the bartender on Law and Order. Like, you know, like they come like, have you seen this lady? You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. Like I've heard some crazy shit behind the bar that I'm gonna take with me to the grave. But like
You have to.
it's your what is the word? I think somebody said it's like being a blue collar prince, because like you get into play like, because you meet a whole lot of different people, you have access to things that a lot of people don't have, right, in their daily life. Like, you know, I know doctors and gangsters in equal parts and lawyers, and you know, like, and also I think for me, like Holly and I talk about it before, like you also can become a bit of a womanizer because it's just there. You know what I mean? And I remember my last couple of like I met my ex-wife at the lounge. Right? Like you're privy to things and people that most people aren't. Right? So it can be fun, and it can be a lot of stuff. Right? I've had some crazy nights some crazy nights, mornings and days behind being a bartender.
I feel like being a bartender is like you always at a party. There's always at the party.
You're always at a party. So like on my off days, I remember on my off days, it was like, don't call me unless you are family and good standing or very close friend, because I'm not answering the phone. I don't want to hear my voice. I don't want anybody to call my name. I'm good. Like I would just like isolate myself. Um, Especially on Sundays. Like I would either go to church or like just be at home quiet, because it does, even though, because you make the party. You do make you're a party engineer is what is what you are every night. And like I remember like we would like I would host shows, and you know it can be a lot. It really can be.
It's a lot of energy that you have to consistently put out to engage with people, and you're taking their energy in and trying to transform that and not absorb the bad stuff and all that chaos. And it's crazy. It's just crazy. Like just being in Vegas, you know, this past weekend, I was just in awe at the amount of people that the bartenders there have to deal with, and just the amount of like just chaos.
And they're from all over.
Pure chaos. And it's like, whew, I would not want to be doing that now.
No, I was at a bar in Vegas. I was staying at a hotel like down the far end of the strip, and there was a bartender, young dude, handsome cat, and he was wearing his wedding band. And I was like, my man, why are you wearing your wedding band at work? He's like, because I'm married. I'm like, no, you're not. He's like, yeah, I am. I've been married for 2 years. I'm like, when you're at work and you're a bartender, especially in this atmosphere, you are not married. You have to always have the image of being available, but you know,
That's
not,
old school though.
Yeah, like I would never wear. I've been married before as a bartender. I would never wear my wedding band anywhere at work ever, because you have to have the perception of being available, but you're not. You know what I mean? So I was like, dude, take your wedding band off. Your tips will get better. And I remember I was there for like 2 hours, just sitting at the bar, shooting the shit. And he walked up to me because I was staying in the hotel, and he was like, Mr. Prescott, I'm going to comp all your drinks. I was like, what for? He's like,
that shit works. Like I'm making more money in like the last 2 hours than I've ever made. Like it was a Saturday night, as a matter of fact. And I was like, well, I'm glad I could help. I was like, don't ever wear your wedding band. Always have that. And I would never tell people, even when I was dating, that I had a girlfriend. If I was actively dating somebody, I would never bring my personal shit to work with me. I would never discuss it. Because like when I was at the Crawford, I would have like, because you know how like the bar there was round, I would have a lot of single women there because like even though I was dating somebody until like my ex came in there and blew up my spot. One of my exes blew up my spot. But like I would always give off the energy of like I'm potentially available. Always. And that's how I made my money. I might do it again because I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored, so I gotta find something to do with my time. But
You ever think about bartending on a boat?
No, I can't because I get motion sick. I get real motion sick. So I can't even do like I can't even do like what is that, like the Gateway Clipper shit? I could never do that because I'd always like go in the bathroom and throw up because that shit was so rocky. Because like the waves or whatever.
All the dead bodies in the Three Rivers. Moving to the music of the night out on the water, and the people are doing it all. Y'all remember that commercial? It was like 91.
Like, yeah, that was an old ass commercial. That was like when Striking Distance came out and shit around that time.
Maybe.
Damn.
I remember that movie. Damn.
Old as hell. But yeah, you know what? It's good to be old. I'm doing a
podcast. I'm starting a podcast soon called The Aged or Aged Artist.
Ooh, I like it.
It's just about aging as an artist, any kind of artist, or people that aren't even artists, whatever. But it's like, it's me and my friend who live out here. I live in Cologne, Germany now. And, we were just like, man, we were having this conversation this one time. We were like, yo, we should just make a podcast. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do a podcast, but I don't know. When I get into it, then I feel it. I feel like I could do this all day, but it's like the setup for it and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's such a drag. And then I'll be so tired at night, you know what I mean? But once I get into it, then it's something different. It's all good.
Oh, dude, like that's how we ended up doing this because like Holly and I would have these crazy ass conversations, and like I'm in the middle of like a crazy ass divorce, custody battle, all this shit, and like Holly's like, let's do a podcast, and I'm like, I don't want to do a podcast. I'm not really in the place to, in my head to do it or whatever. But it's been once you get into it, it's fun as hell. It's cathartic and therapeutic, and you come to find out a lot about yourself while you do this, right? Because like it's like one of those things like we said at the top, you're sharing yourself with people, right? Like it's a giving thing, and I'm not necessarily like bearing it all, but I'm certainly without pants. You know what I'm saying? Like once you start doing it, it's very revealing, and you do it I do it with the hopes of letting people know, like, yo, you're not alone. This shit happens. You know what I mean? Like you're not a one-off or whatever. Like, so like we talk about a lot of different stuff, like today, like love and art. It goes hand in hand. It's like once you start doing it, I can't wait to hear your show because like you as an artist and you as a person, you're gonna make that shit fun.
It's fun. I mean, I try to live a fun life. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you gotta turn all the tragedy. It's not like I had all this tragedy in my life or whatever, but it's like, I don't know, man. It's once I learned how to laugh at myself, even though I may have been the butt of the joke, I just feel like sometimes you may live a life where you're the butt of the joke and you have to be all right with that and you have to laugh too. But while you're laughing with the other people who are laughing at you and maybe you're laughing at yourself too, it also gives you the freedom to be ridiculous, do ridiculous stuff. So, hey, live it up. You know what I mean? Because you only live once and you might as well enjoy your time here. I can't I had a solid year, sixth grade, where it was just like hell on earth, for me. And then that summer, I auditioned for Joe Turner's Come and Gone, and I got the role. You know what I mean? I got the role, and I was a child actor. I was happy, so I was like, all right, word. You know what I mean? And then after that, it was just like, I don't know. The people I did the show with, the actors and you know the stage crew and everybody, they all told me, they're just like, yo, you. They kept stressing that you only live once and you really got to enjoy yourself and you really got to try your best, but make sure you enjoy yourself. And they were just giving me like really awesome advice. And then I started going to church a lot after that too. Same thing. Everybody's like old enough to be my grandparents, and they're just like, "Yo, you have to enjoy yourself, live your life." You know, I'm getting all the same kind of advice. You know, and I just did a podcast 2 weeks ago, and I was speaking on this, and I'll speak on it always. I had a deacon at my church tell me that it's a sin to worry because it means you don't really believe in God. So I was like, I believe.
Yeah.
You know
What church did you go to? What denomination?
Baptist. I went to Metropolitan Baptist Church on the north side.
Okay.
I hung out a lot on the north side, but I wasn't a north sider. You know what I mean? But I'm from the south. Well, I'm not South Hills. I'm from Beachview. It's like I'm from the Liberty Tunnel, basically. The Mount Washington. There's a neighborhood right next to Mount Washington, basically. That's where. I'm from. But a lot of woods over there, and I just remember, you know, being told that. But I had heard that before, but there's just one particular, and this is right when I was like starting to transition out of really going to church heavy every week because I was older and I had started drinking. And I thought it was a sin to go to church if you was a drinker because you're not allowed to accept communion. They said on Communion Sunday, you're not allowed to accept the communion if you drink alcohol. So I said, well, I ain't gonna be able to really come to church.
Oh,
so
shit.
That's real. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And I was judging other people on it too. So I just saw that they weren't stopping going to church, and I knew they get lit. So I was like, all right, look, I like drinking, so I'm not gonna go to church so much anymore because I don't want to mislead people, you know. It was weird. And that's right before I started going to Shadow Lounge. And I started going to Shadow Lounge as if it were my church. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you can't be a church. You can't have church boy mentality. And I realized later and during my run at Shadow Lounge, being there all the time, that not everybody, a lot of people that were there had that same thing where if they didn't belong to a church, they belonged to something that gave them this sense of community, you know? And, you know, so I had that, and I liked having responsibilities and people that I could basically fellowship with or whatever, you know what I mean? But in a different way. But so like I had a really bad year in sixth grade, and I thought I didn't really want to be alive anymore. You know, it was just kind of like, you know, like I just didn't. It's not that I hated my life or anything, but going to school was just torture. It was really torture. Seventh grade came around, and it was completely different. And then I really started enjoying everything, and that kind of wrote my life up to where I am now. But the thing that always rang clear was like, you're only going to get one shot at this whole thing, so you got to make sure that you balance. And I've definitely messed with balance. You know, I've definitely have like just not been a balanced person in my life, but I feel like you always have a chance. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm 45. I turned 45 in February, and even though I've had down times, hardship, I've struggled with depression and you know, like ADD, brain stuff or whatever. I still feel like I've had that time of my life for my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've just had fun all the time. It just, I don't know. And maybe it's not about having fun, but at the same time, they said in school that life was supposed to be the pursuit of happiness. So I said, well, I'm going to pursue my happiness then. And I'm like, I remember asking a lot of old people like, yo, do you need money to do this? They're like, no, it's all about the decisions you make. And I'm like, all right. And then I realized that being a singer, I'm not really a singer. Like I might as well just start really saying it. I've been saying it for like 20 plus years. And I am a singer because I be singing, but I'm a
You're an artist. You're an artist.
I hardly ever draw because I've been singing so damn much. You know, it's like sang every choir. It's like anytime it's like, oh man, Gene, you got to sing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, okay, all right. And then I go up there and, you know, sometimes I'm really serious and sometimes I'm just like being goofy. But I mean, I am a singer, but it's not, I thought I was going to be the next Todd McFarlane. Like I thought I was going to be somebody who's going to be penning like, or inking or penciling a Spider-Man or something like that, you know? And it didn't happen because I just stopped doing it, started singing. And then I started drinking. And then I started fusing. I thought I was a stand-up comic, even though I was never doing routines. It was just like, if I show up, if I host the open mic, then I do the comedy while I'm introducing people. That's like stand-up, you know, like that kind of thing. And I don't know, man, it was fun. It was good days, but it's like, I enjoyed what I was doing, but there's a lot of people around me who were not enjoying their life, or they had their ups and downs or whatever. You know, we're all living a life at the same time. You know what I mean? And I can't speak on behalf of anybody else but myself. I know that I feel like I enjoyed what I was doing and everything was all good. But I don't know if that's for everybody. You know what I mean? And man, I sometimes I get to talking and I feel like if there was a question, I just totally leave it. Like I just got away from
No,
it.
but that's what we're strictly
I hope I'm not getting too far off.
No, not at all. Like I remember, oh shit, Gene, I never told you this because I haven't seen you in a clip. I remember the last time I saw you perform was the night that the last night, the Saturday that the lounge closed. And I remember you were rehearsing, and I was setting the bar up, right? And I don't know why I was there early. I was supposed to take pictures, but I was jet lagged or whatever and missed the pictures. And I came in, I was setting the bar up, and you were rehearsing. And I had to like leave, and I opened like, dude, I had to like go to the green room and fucking weep. Like I just was like, this is like too much. Right. It was a weird ass night. It was dope, but it was sad or whatever.
I was
remember
super sad. I was you feel like myself that during that whole weekend. Like
I was like down. I'm like, I've been in the green room for a lot of other shit besides crying. You know what I'm saying? It's weird how life the way life goes, but like I don't know. Like the older I'm getting, the more like I remember like how I ended up getting in the theater was around the same time you got in the theater, but I got into it. It was seventh grade. I was fat. I had bad skin. I was awkward, right? And there was this girl that went to my church.
Was it public school?
Yeah, it was public school. Yeah. This girl who went to my church who I had a crush on. Shit, from the moment I saw her till the moment I got my diploma. She talked me into taking theater, right? And I was like, I'll go anywhere you want me to go. like I just loved her that much, and I ended up really digging it, and it really helped me to get out of some of my shell, because like I said, I can go inward real fast. So like it really helped me to like, and I took theater like the whole way through school, and like as long as she was taking that class, I was taking that class, right? It was like, I don't know if it was mild stalking, but yeah, that's why I like theater really helped me to get out of my shell and not be afraid to speak publicly. You know what I mean? Like I can get on, if it's a stage, I'll get on it and do whatever. You know what I mean? I'm nowhere near as talented as you are at it, but you know, I still enjoy it.
I feel like you know what, but that when it comes to talent and all that stuff, man, I feel like we're all kind of,
it's subjective.
We're all kind of on it. I don't know, man. It's like I've been thinking about this because like there was a time in my life where I was just like, man, you know, I'm really talented. I got all this thing. But man, there's so many times I don't feel that way. So when I hear that, I always have to speak to it nowadays because I'm just kind of like, I feel like maybe I was like right place, right time, and I definitely trained. I studied certain things, but there's a whole lot of things I just kind of let go as well. Because if you're only as good as your last performance, there's some people that only seen me do bad performances, and some people saw me do some things I was proud of. But I feel like if you were on stage as much as I was, then it'd be the same type of thing. You know what I mean? You'd find yourself singing, you'd find yourself rapping, you'd find yourself, I know that you've done poetry, you know what I mean? But it's like, you would be like nightly singing, nightly rapping, you know what I mean? Like if you just always needed that open mic to be at, if you're not like, if you're basically responsible, you took the responsibility of being responsible for us having a good time. You know what I mean? Whenever you could have been on the other side of that too. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you had that much talent.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I just never, you know what I did? I never really took it. I think part of it was like growing up in the church and having to be in the choir and having to, do certain things, because like when your dad is like the pastor or whatever, you have to be like, a product of, you have to be like their work product. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be in the church and involved in those things. So part of me, I was like, I just took it kind of like cynically, like, I can. It's like one of those things, like, yeah, I can do that, but you know what I mean. I rather make martinis and flirt with women all night or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it was just something that I never took it. I never took it
focus
seriously.
Your energy. You gotta say, this is what I want to do.
Well, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it now.
You should.
Who now?
You should go and
I'm
audition
writing.
you should go and audition.
I'm writing again. I'm writing again.
Go and audition for a Netflix show.
I'm gonna do a show. I want to do a show about. I would love to do a show about, like, I don't know why there's not a show like about the lounge. There's so much talent. There's so much crazy shit, mostly good, right, happened in that space, right? Like to this day, Justin and I credit ourselves for Daru getting a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like a lot of good people came through that door, and there were nights where I was just like, I remember I said this during the show, I was like, man, fuck the shitty pay. This is amazing. I would be here regardless. You know what I mean? Just for some of the things, just for the experiences.
I mean, like, the people that were in there were special people. Every one of them was like for sports. I mean, like, I don't think anybody's like playing sports all like that, but I'm saying, like, if we were speaking as far as sports, or like just not, let me start over. There's everybody that went to that place on a regular for the seasons that they were like Shadow Lounge regulars, and I feel like everybody was at some point. Not everybody, but all the people that were there. If you went once, you went a couple times, is what I mean. But they were good at a bunch of things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they found common ground with other people who were there. That's why they kept coming back, because they were just like, wow, I see myself in this person, but I also see another part of myself in this person, and they're totally opposite. But then those two people also had got something in common. There's like, you could go, it's the type of place you go to by yourself. You didn't have to bring nobody. And you could always feel like you was going in to go meet with your friends, even if you didn't know who was going to be there that day.
Yeah, it was a beautiful island in a mediocre sea. Like real. That's how I always looked at it. But man, I some of the shows and some of the talent. I remember real quick. Like, I remember, what's the DJ's name from the Netherlands?
I was rocking the T-shirt. I remember I had the free hat and the free T-shirt.
Yeah, you remember. Mm-hmm. So you remember that? You know.
You got to call Kelly Mays. You got to call Kelly Mays.
I'm good.
What was it called? Ion? It was Eyes On or something like
that? Scion. It was a Scion. Yeah.
It was a Scion sponsorship. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
He did a show, And I remember Julian was on the door. And I remember, I think Julian got up and did a couple of bars. Tim got up there and did a couple of bars. A couple other people did. And everybody, it was like people who worked at the lounge, right? And I remember like dude like walked off stage and was talking to his manager. And I was like, is everything okay? And he was like, yeah, we wanna book a few more nights here. And I was like, oh, cool. We have to talk to Justin. And his manager was like, yo, we've been all over the world and we've never seen like the staff just like do some shit like this before. We fucking love it here. We want to come back. And I'm like, I'm glad you guys dig it. It's gonna come to me in the middle of the night who this DJ's name is.
I can't think of his name right now, but I know you.
Yeah, it's killing me. But it's like those kind of experiences, like where everybody in there is talented. Everybody in there can do something. Nobody's gun shy. Like everybody can do something. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's the reason why they ended up there. I think that it was an art friendly situation because you have a rotation. Okay, so the walls are treated as if it's an art gallery. And then you have an all-star bar staff from different spots who are just coming through. Because like if you really look at the whole life of the lounge, you got bartenders who were like the star bartender at another spot. And then they come to the lounge and now they're the star at the lounge for that time. And then those nights where you had the overlap all stars, like I knew who these people were. Like I knew the bartenders were like stars at other spots. You know what I mean? And like now they're just at the lounge, like just bartending together. It's like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that can't. You know what? Like that was like one of those things
at that time.
It was like it was like one of those like all the stars aligned to make that happen. Because like, who do we have? We had like T-Funk. Big up to T-Funk, Asante. D, big up to D. We had like, Patina Miller bartended at the Shadow Lounge. Yeah. Right? And now she's like, what, a Tony Award winner, singer, actress. And I think she's on like Power or something like that. Yeah, we had Josh Gad there every night. And I remember I told Josh, just like, he got up on stage one night and he did this wild ass monologue, and he had on like I swear to God, this is crazy shit. He would always wear like t-shirts that had like sayings on them, and he had this like yellow t-shirt. It was yellow as shit, and like he was like short, chunky kid, full of energy, and he did this crazy ass monologue, and it was dope as hell. And I remember I walked from behind the bar, and I put my hands on his shoulders. I said, Josh, you're gonna be wildly fucking famous one day. Just remember I said that to you. And the only thing I want is tickets for everything that you're in. And he was like, really? Do you think I'm going to be famous? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. You're amazing. And that's all I said. Right. Because like he would be at the lounge and he would always like sit at the end of the bar and just like watch everything. Right.
I just finished watching his TV show. I think it's on Hulu that he has with Isla Fisher. It's with Isla Fisher.
Wolf Like Me.
Yeah, it's really good. He's super talented in that. It's crazy. I know.
I mean, we had some talent. It's just, I don't know, it's a fun experience. We had and
you ain't gonna have that. Like, I mean, I hope it happens. It's gonna happen. It's probably happening.
It's gonna happen again
somewhere. But for that time period, that I think that's one of the only bars that had that kind of magic, and I have to believe that because so many people from all over the United States, but even parts of the world, like anybody who came in there felt something different. You know what I mean? It was a different type of energy, and it was fun. And you had people who were really creative, but they were always working on themselves, like trying to get better. And you could be there and you could learn from somebody real quick about the other side of something that maybe was a mystery to you, but that they could present it to you in a certain way that made you want to go and discover why that's so cool to them. And then maybe you go and do it, and then you apply it to your thing, and then you got them to thank. And before you know it, somebody's buying somebody a shot. They're having a good time. They're like, yo, you coming back on the weekend? I'll be here. That's another thing about the lounge. It was the after hour spot for a long time for everything cool for a certain scene or a couple scenes in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I know that I did like every time I went out somewhere and had a good time somewhere, I'd hit up Justin like, yo, you gonna be open? And if he wasn't, he would be like, I'll open if you got people coming. I'd be like, yeah, man, I'm trying to lead down a crew for like an after party. You know what I mean? Let's after party at the Shadow Lounge. So it was always, I remember being at Club Cafe all the time or like Z Lounge and just being like,
yeah,
Zythos, whatever. Be like, yo, after party at the Shadow Lounge. We're like, what's the Shadow Lounge? We're like, yo, it's a spot over East Liberty. East Liberty. I can't go to
yeah.
East Liberty.
I don't want to get robbed.
I don't want to get robbed. You know, it was always like that. It's like, no, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. You gotta come.
Man,
my God. Yeah.
Even before I worked there, I loved going there.
Place. I miss the lounge, man. And all those eras too. It's like the only thing there's two things that didn't change as far as like me being at the lounge a lot, and that's Kelly's across the street. So
pick up the Kellys
because you could always leave the lounge, go to Kelly's real quick, and then come back.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That was like
you needed the breather.
I was in Santa Barbara talking to this guy who's a friend of mine now. You know, he asked me where I was from. Santa Barbara, California, at this little dive bar. And it's called Paul Mary's. Sitting there, talking to this dude, didn't know him from Adam, you know, got to talking. He was like, where are you from? Like, I'm from Pittsburgh. And one of the first things he said to me was like, you ever heard of a place called the Shadow Lounge? I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because he lived in Pittsburgh for a short period of time. And he was like telling me about the lounge. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's nice. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I get it.
People know about that magic, man. Anybody that went in there, they know. I mean, I can speak about a lot of things. But this is kind of light or whatever. But like, you ever watch the TV show New Girl?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So one of the characters above his bed, he had a poster of a band that played at the Shadow Lounge like pretty regularly. I mean, not they probably played there like 4 times. And I don't know whatever. I'm not going to go off on tangents or whatever. But I will say that I think if there's a special energy that happened there that makes people think of like their memories of Pittsburgh during that era. If they got a chance to go to Shadow Lounge, that Shadow Lounge ended up trumping all other spots and memories or something like that. I don't know. The Shadow Lounge is the only place where it's just like all at the same time. It's like it's a coffee house, but it's also like this dance club that's like it feels exclusive, and you have like and all the DJs that are going in there. You know what I mean? Like you got all these DJs, and it's like people spin all types of stuff, and they're all just in there just chilling. You know. And they may get on, and maybe not, or whatever. You know, I don't know.
I met lots of pretty women there.
Of course,
man.
And they all did well in school.
Yeah, like look at you, a good girl, good clean girl.
Yeah, you didn't see a lot of girls that didn't do well in school in there. I noticed.
Yeah,
that.
there were.
You know.
No, you know what? It was funny. It was like a lot of dummies didn't. I don't want to call them dummies, but like there was like a different breed. There was a different class of women that came through there too. I used
to say the Shadow Lounge was like a nerd bar because I felt like I could go there and be a nerd. I could nerd out, and I felt like a lot of people could go in there and just kind of nerd out.
Yeah, you could be yourself. I had a couple.
Or you could just be your nerdy self. Like you know, there's nowhere else to really go to be a nerd. You know what I mean? Like you just go. You could go in there and read a book in the corner, and no one's gonna bother you. And if they do bother you, they're just doing it because they see you're reading something they want to talk to you about.
Oh, you come in there reading a book. I'm trying to fuck you. That's an insult. You can't come here and just read a book.
Nah, but I'm saying that it's the type of place where if you just wanted to do that, you could.
You could.
I saw a lot of people writing in journals. This is before people had smartphones. You know, people used to go in there and just be like, "I'm just sitting in here. I just want to write my journal. Have this drink, this strong ass drink."
Yeah. I still to this
The
day.
strongest drink to eat.
I still don't use. I don't put anything in my smartphone. I still rock the straight up old school journal with the pen and the pad. But like, I remember like I invited a couple of my friends from the hood down there one night. It was a Saturday, and they were like mad intimidated because like I remember my one friend said to me, "He's like, oh, you got to be Neo Soul to get women out of here." I'm like, I don't know what Neo Soul is, but like, clearly this is not your thing. Like they were like intimidated by like the dopeness of it all. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't hood. Like we'd had nights like straight up gangsters would be in there and be like, and would mellow out. Like would straight mellow out, like, yo, this is dope in here. We're not gonna fuck this shit up. Or like it would just like their whole behavior would change because like the environment was conducive to chill shit. You know what I'm saying?
It kind of was. I mean, it's the only place I ever seen where it's like you go outside for a cigarette break, right? And you could be out there, and on a lot of occasions, okay. This is just people types. You got a bartender, a stripper, heavy metal guitarist, poet, principal of a elementary school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
all together.
Someone who works at the mayor's office.
Yeah.
All outside at the same time. And then half hour later, half of that rotation comes back to have cigarettes or smoke or they just need to step out with another group of people who kind of you would never think belong together, coexisting, like almost like making plans to do this again next week type conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, shit, we had nights where like, okay, it's a room full of lesbians or whatever having a disco party in Ava, and then there's like a Jewish Hanukkah party in the blue room, and then like the lounge is just like it's Brazilians or some crazy mix like that. Like you would never know. Like you're like walking through different portals and different spaces, all under the same roof and shit. Which was like even working there, I had times where I was like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like
after a couple hours, those rooms would mix up.
Yeah, and then then it would be like everything would like spill into each other, and that shit would just be dope to me. Like there were nights where I would just stand back and be like Rakim would say, like to stand in the crowd and watch the people wonder. Damn,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it would just be this crazy mix of people and energy and sex.
I mean, there's a lot of energy, but there was only a couple times I went to Shadow Lounge and felt uncomfortable, and I gotta admit that like there was a Saturday night I went in there, and there was a Northern Soul party, and it was weird. It was so weird.
What's Northern Soul?
I think it's the Title Town parties. There's
okay.
So these parties were a lot of fun. I went to a couple. I went to more. I did sound for a couple. I went to a couple, but there was one night in the very early days of that, and I went in. I said what's up to the DJs, and I just remember the crowd that was there was just people who never was really at the Shadow Lounge, and then there was a couple of people that were blended in that I would see at the Shadow Lounge sometimes, and they act like they didn't know me, and I was just like, man, this is so weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that all changed as time went on, but that was the only time. Like I don't even know if the party was called Title Town. There was another title for it was a Northern. I just know there was a Northern Soul party very early on, and I just remember that's the only time I ever really felt uncomfortable in there because it was like people weren't being like the usual friendly. I feel like you could walk up to anybody, give somebody a high five, or strike up a conversation or something like that. And that was the only, and it was really only like one night, and I felt that. Sundays, there was a couple Sundays maybe I felt like that too, where it was they used to have these showcases by Afton. Do you guys remember the Afton showcases that they did in there?
Yeah, but I never worked on Sundays. Sundays was
on
my
Sundays. Yeah,
days. I'd very rarely even step in there on Sundays.
Yeah, so there was a couple times on Sundays too where it was like very family, like the families for the artist would come out, And it was like these are like artists. These are bands that they probably just played the Shadow Lounge maybe just that one time, and but there was the Afton Showcase. I'm pretty sure it was called the Afton Showcase, and I remember going in there a couple times and feeling like I shouldn't really even drink because it was just so family heavy on a Sunday. Like entire families were just coming out to like support the band that was playing. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But other than that, there was really like this feeling of like anytime I went in there, I just felt like I could talk to anybody pretty much about anything. Or if I wanted to disappear, I could disappear. Like if I wanted to take a nap, I could totally take a nap and not be judged. You know,
no,
like
because
there's
you're
a lot
home.
of people like it's like a lot of people felt that sense of home. And I remember that if people were just tired, like some people wouldn't even drink. They'd come in from after work or whatever, and then they would just go and they would just chill out. And if they end up falling asleep, somebody would put a cover on them. You know what I mean? Like it was like that. You know what I mean? Like if you went up to pretty much anybody on any night and said, "Yo, you want to play chess?" They would play chess with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they didn't know how to play, they'd be like, "Yo, I don't really play chess, but I'll play this one time real quick. Let me just make sure I got my drinks." You know what I mean? It was like that, and I like that, and I wish that there was like more places like that. That's hard to come by, and I think that's the reason why I'm speaking on it. I'm just saying that kind of thing I think is just it's special and it's hard to come by, and then plus you got like people that really express themselves, great entertainment. Those open mics were just legendary because
oh man,
you had the great artists mixed in with the up and coming that's about to be great. Oh man, you had people at the beginning of their careers, like, and then end up like I remember seeing like Mac Miller, rest in peace. I was at one of his first shows at the Shadow Lounge, and I was hosting it, and it was the first time I had ever seen him. He was very young, and he was on a bill that Huggy was he was DJing, and
big up to Huggy.
Yeah, and man, shout out to everybody in Eviction Notice, real talk. But man, like there's a lot of different people came through there, and just like they were great. They were great from the door, but like at the same time, they just ended up when you see what they did, like how they affected people on the globe, and you know that they was starting from that kind of energy at the lounge, like it's or just in and around the lounge, like that scene of scenes that was happening in Pittsburgh at the time.
Yeah, I remember seeing Wiz there and was like,
yeah,
this dude has already got it. Like whatever it is that's the it or whatever. Like this dude he just got that shit. Like some people just naturally have that, and like you said, like seeing people like Mac, like you would just see people.
There were some serious shows, entertainers, serious artists.
There were some shows, man, that like when you tell people about some of this stuff, it's like one of those things like I compare it to like Studio 54. Like you had to be there to see that shit.
You had to be there.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Because there's a lot of people that didn't really get famous, like all like that I thought could have or should have. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Like I won't name drop a bunch of them, but one is definitely Ricardo, who is now, a lot of people know him as Lavender Freddy. Shout out to him. I mean, he still got opportunity. I think that he could still be, somebody who's like just big in industry with music videos and all that stuff. But I definitely thought he was one of them people, well, not thought, but think, you know what I mean? Man, I thought I was one of those people. I
thought you were one of those people.
Yeah, I was like, man, at some point, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize that you had to be a recording artist for this. You know what I mean? Like I thought you could do it just from stage. I mean, I don't know. Stupid me. I mean, I knew that you'd have to have a single playing on the radio, and I just put it off. Like, oh man, I'm gonna record a song that can definitely get played on Whammo at some point, I don't know if I don't think I ever made that song back then. I feel like maybe I record some things that could work on any radio station right now. But I mean, I make weird music, but
I don't think you make weird music. I think you make the music that you like to make. You remind me, and you remind me of Terrence Trent D'Arby. I think I was telling Holly about this a couple weeks ago.
yeah,
I told somebody, you remind me a lot of Terrence Trent D'Arby in this way. You're wildly talented. Like if Terrence Trent D'Arby wanted to like make a soul album, like if he just said, I'm gonna go in the studio and record a classic standard soul cover album, or just did like a dope ass R&B album, he could do that. He's already proven that he could do that.
yeah.
But at some point, he said, you know what? I'm gonna make whatever the fuck I want to make. Right? Is it commercially successful? No. But if you go back and listen to his catalog, man, go back and listen to some of his shit. He's got some gems in there that he's made. And what I'm saying is like you kind of remind me of that, because like you could do commercial top 40.
I wish. I mean,
shit, if you wanted to.
I always felt like I was like anti that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I definitely couldn't do it now. But even when I was younger, I don't think I could do it. I mean, I don't know. I was trying to chase like MCs that day, or like singers of that day. Like I really wanted to be Aaron Hall, like for real. Like I wanted to sound like Aaron Hall, like back in the day. I thought Goodbye Love was like
that's still the shit.
I thought that's still the end track, you know what I mean? Or like no, Blackstreet, Before I Let You Go.
Before I Let You Go.
Before I Let You Go. Yeah. My God.
Yeah. Dave Hollister and what's his name? Dave Hollister and I forget the other dude's name, but like shit, just put Teddy Riley. Teddy Riley's like the MSG of 90s R&B.
Yeah, it's all like Teddy Riley I'm thinking about. I mean, like he ain't the only one, but he just.
But yeah, you remind me of that, because like there's I don't want to overstep. Like, do you make music that you want to make? Right. Yeah. That's like, that goes back to the whole thing of like loving what you make. Like I can't, like I'm starting to get back into writing, and the stuff that I'm doing now is totally different than the stuff I did in 2007. Totally different. I mean, some of it still rings true, you know what I mean? But like, I'm writing from a different place. I'm grown, divorced, a father. I used to have hair. You know what I'm saying? Like the body has changed. The feelings have changed. The experience are different. So like what I'm doing now is I just write from a different place. But what I'm doing is I'm writing stuff that's more joy filled, right? Like I'm coming from which is weird. Like I don't write anything that's melancholy anymore. I don't do, I'm doing more love stuff, more joy.
At this point in your life, you got to.
Passion.
Yeah. Got to at this point.
You're learning to follow your bliss. And I think that that's kind of the important part of that. And I think that the older you get, the more you don't want to be taking up your time lingering in dark places, because you've already had those nights of the soul and you're just ready to move forward and do some other stuff. It's like
you've had those moments where you're just like, like I have to feel the blessings, like where I am in my life right now. I have to like feel good about where I'm at, even though I've been through all these things, and I have to learn how to live in the happy place instead of trying to almost purposefully jump into in that place that's a little more sad or darker side, where you can write from it or whatever. I try to do that too. It's not, you can't always create art from that, or the art you create while you're in that, you can't necessarily love. Like you may want to, but you find yourself disconnected from it. You wonder why, like, I guess even from the first question of this whole thing is like, I guess I got to revisit it and say, if you're really going to spend the time on what you make, no matter what it is that you're making, there has to be some kind of level of love, even if you're in practice mode. Because I know I do a lot of things in practice mode, thinking like, okay, yeah, I'm making this. This is just me practicing how to play this tune on guitar, or making this track, or whatever. But there's got to be some level of love in it, for it to exist for you to finish it. If you're gonna finish it, you got to have there got to be some kind of level of love in there.
Thanks for joining us for part 1 of Love and Art with Gene Stovall. Make sure to catch part 2. Special thanks to our guest, Gene Stovall, and to my co-host, Ernest. And as always, if you find yourself in darkness, we hope it's in the shadow of love.